Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
How are you?
Great, but I would like to say 3 sentences with 0 interruption. This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge: want different things. God, I almost had it. The reason I wanted to do that is because I've been having a great success with episode transcription, but the voices at the beginning make it all confused. So I guess we're gonna go another. I said my 3 sentences. Go ahead. I'm done. I tried. I'm done. How are you, Merlin Man?
Thanks. Now do it right.
All right. This is Due by Friday.
You understand what I mean? Say the right. Say this. You're very funny. Now say it the right way.
The right way?
Say the right name for the challenge.
Yeah.
Say the thing that I said.
Things. Want different things. That's why I said it.
Want to take a third cut at it?
3, 2, 1. This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge: want different things.
This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge: want other things.
Is it other and not different?
Check your transcript.
Gosh. Yeah, exactly. It's either 3 speakers or 15 speakers. Mm-hmm. But that's okay.
Good. Well, I'm glad you got that all wired. That's all figured out. And the quality of life improvements are already beginning to pour in. Were people able to tell you how you sound different? Someday you'll explain that to me.
Would you like an explanation?
Absolutely not.
Would you really like an explanation?
Oh, no,
okay,
I don't.
Good.
No, I don't. But just sometimes you say really bananas things and then you say it more than once. And I start to think it's something that you think is real. Yeah.
No,
I understand. It's part of a therapy thing, probably. I understand.
No.
Okay. Hey, how's it going?
But
you good?
It's going great.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to hear things. Okay, so what apart from your funny bit that you opened with, what else was there? Any other
bit? I was hoping that that could be the intro, and then
I kind of figured that because that's how I do the intro each week. Yeah, except I say it
but
correctly.
it's not always. But it's not your voice always. That's
is
the
now.
Thing. So the batch
transcription has been for about 4 or 5 weeks. It's always my voice.
I know. Yeah, but like you don't say it the same.
It's okay. I forgot to tell you. I just got to push this out. It's on staging right now. I'll push this to production. I fixed it in all the previous ones, so I'll just push out that change. It'll be much clearer and be easier for your transcription. Which, if you got 2 sentences wrong in that transcription, who even knows? Woof. Yeah. So what are my takeaways from that?
That transcription is getting really good.
Oh, awesome.
Really
that was a great way to start the show. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to Do My Friday. Transcriptions are getting great. How about that? How about that canary kit, huh? Or whatever it's called.
Canary kit.
The new fast one, the canary one.
Oh, parakeet. It doesn't work for me because M1 Mac. So this was also purely serving me.
Oh.
This is my 3 sentences completely selfish. It wasn't good for the show.
In what sense?
Because I bet your computer would work, but in M1 it's like you don't get.
I can assure you, my computer
parakeet
works.
doesn't work.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then I use that to build things.
Yes.
Right.
What have you built recently?
Nothing I want to share. But no, I'm really just not that interested in the toolbox. I just like the stuff. That's the problem. I'll get re-interested in the toolboxes once the next shakeout.
That is profound in a way. I mean, do you mean that in a backpack? Like you don't care about the backpack?
I'm a map. I'm a map. I'm a map.
I just can't say those words without Brian Regan.
The big yellow one's the sun.
Yellow.
You gotta do it in the voice. The big yellow one's the sun. Boxing.
Dirt.
Cup of dirt. He's
like
funny.
How he says dirt.
I do too. There's just some words that I just hear in. I couldn't even begin. But there's so many words I will always hear it in a certain voice. I did it on Monday with Roderick. I just can't hear the word bucket or like think about the word bucket without going bucket. Because it's such a funny word to me.
Wait a second. Which
bucket? It's not important. But
this
the
isn't
point is stay
Fargo.
focused, stay on target. No, it's just a funny word, bucket. Because and then I say bucket, and then I say it. I usually say it. No, well, you can do your version. I say bucket, and then I'll go bucket, and then I'll go like fudge bucket. Because to me, that's fudge bucket is one of the funniest phrases because you get to use that vowel sound twice. And the tone of voice is kind of like it's not that you're embarrassed, but it's definitely you feel a little chastened. Somebody's asked you a question, and the answer is fudge bucket. Where'd you lose your keys? Where'd you lose your keys? Fudge bucket. What are you having for lunch? Fudge bucket.
Ew.
What did your dad call your mom?
Ew. Oh.
Tell her I said hi.
Ew. Is this good for the show?
I'm trying to find the security update for Plex, and I think I might have already installed it. I hope.
I have discovered,
There's
even
an
though
urgent
your Plex
potential
is there,
security issue.
Well, there's a potential security issue with our relationship as well in the universes we occupy, because you sent me a very good episode of the podcast Blank Check with the guest. Hold on, the guest was Zach Krieger.
Oh my God!
Okay.
How many Adderalls have you had or not had?
0.
You're going to make me go into Donna mode. Is there something that you're supposed to be taking that you're not taking, or is there something that you've taken way too much of? You're crazy, Craig.
People who listen to this are going to think I'm okay. You texted me a very good episode of Blank Check that I was like, oh, cool. It has one of my favorite directors, Zach Krieger, who recently had a movie released called Weapons. It was great. I saw it twice this weekend. And then you posted on Blue Sky a video that, I guess, spoilers, it is an upsetting video of zombie ants, and this video makes an appearance in Weapons, like the specific video. I believe it was the BBC.
It's the original thing I'm aware of where I first learned about quote unquote zombie anything, which is not exactly a perfect name, but it's what we've come to call them. But when there are animals, in particular, the surprising effect on animals that certain kinds of like fungus can have, in this case cordyceps. And that's the first time, before I ever knew about The Last of Us or whatever, I'd seen those pictures of insects that looked like they were a pupa or something, like all white and wizened and with mushrooms growing out of their eyes. And I found it very, very upsetting.
White and wizened.
White and wizened.
It's
Try to catch me white and wizened. Try to catch me white and wizened.
No.
Oh, I see. Oh, Weird Al erasure. That's great. Okay. My
Title. Oh, you can hear my keyboard or at least I can on my microphone. That's not good.
Did you clean your desk?
No.
Okay.
I should have.
I don't care. I cleaned my area. I cleaned it again today. I cleaned it up good. I don't like grit on my desk mat. I get grit sometimes.
Okay.
Like grit.
I'm going to amend this.
I'm sorry, I took you off
my
the thing.
desk.
I was doing a bit. I'm sorry, I was doing a bit about that guy you like who interviews Trump voters. I was doing a bit, and I admit. See, now that's a joke inside of a joke. This Krieger guy was, which sounds like a terrible nickname for a frat boy. Yes. He is a guy who was a guest on an episode of Blank Check, and I didn't realize until they mentioned it, I think pretty far in, that he's in a comedy, was in a comedy group I believe you two have loved, which is The Whitest Kids You Know.
Mm-hmm.
And they've replaced the noun you with the letter U. Is that right? Yes. Yeah. That's the same thing as To Which Nothing Compares. Oh, by the way, holy God, Alex, I forgot a big yes off of our yes list. This is why I need to make an official list. I forgot Matt Berry saying yes.
Oh, that's the... Oh, wow.
Well, I don't know if it's the canonical, but going back to Matt Berry saying yes, this is gonna generate a whole list. I'm sorry, listeners. Alex and I think words like hello and yes can be funny, and that's why we say it a lot.
And now bucket is way up there for me. Bucket.
Yeah. Tell her
What's
I said
your
hi.
canonical yes?
I don't know if I have a canonical yes. The one that goes through my head the most is one of the most kind of technically obscure, unless you've watched Glengarry Glen Ross as much as I have. But there's this one scene, I think I've mentioned this before, but I think it's when they're in the car and Ed Harris is pitching Alan Arkin on stealing the Glengarry leads. And he's mostly, I just remember seeing this, God, it's raining all the time. I think it's when they're in the car. It might be at the office or the restaurant. But anyways, Ed Harris is getting really worked up. And Alan Arkin is mostly kind of like just, like listening along. But he'd say things like, they don't respect us. And Alan Arkin goes, yes. And then it's like, they don't give us the good news. Yes. And for some reason, the way Alan Arkin kind of unemotionally just says yes is very, very funny to me. Now, Matt Berry, see, it's hard to describe, though, if people haven't seen it, but it's just funny that there's a whole running bit on Toast of London where Matt Berry is very reluctantly helping make ends meet by doing voiceover work. And the main bit that people know is, yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango. But as it builds and builds over time, you get to one, I think even fairly early on, where he walks into the studio and his sheet is on the stand of what he needs to read. And it's just the word yes. It's like, how do you want me to? Yes. Yes. And it just it keeps going. And you can see like not failed, but like a struggling voice actor trying so hard to like just get through this with these people that he hates. Can you hear me, Stephen? Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango. He's here on work experience.
This was the inspiration. Turns out this was the inspiration for the bones are their money, and so are the worms. And I can't quote the whole. I think you should leave.
What makes you think it inspired that?
In an interview, I think on Seth.
No way! Tim Robinson said he was inspired by Stephen Toast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's okay. Just find it. I'd never heard that. That's really awesome. I'm back on my bullshit with Matt Berry because I started watching and rewatching and rewatching Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. And I finally broke my rule and showed it to Madeline. And I did it in the skeeviest way. I was like, just watch just the beginning of this. Because it's so fucking weird. And you really do have to watch it. You really do have to pay attention to Garth Marenghi's Dark Place to really get the feel of it. But how much have you watched? I
have not. This is not the one this is not the spinoff of oh no, I have not. I've never even heard of this.
You're thinking of the thing Brooke's talking about, probably.
What we do in the Shadows spinoff.
Oh no,
the New Zealand one.
Oh gosh, no. This is from 2003 or 4.
Yeah. This is such an upsetting poster. I love it.
well, hang on a minute. Okay, so wait. Okay, well, in that case, this will be our drop-in this week. Let's see. Garth, Dark Place. And so, and I don't know. Nobody clicks videos anymore, but this is my...
not true. I wish... that's not true.
Okay. In that case, this is all staying in. Go ahead, keep talking while I find this.
That's not true. I am looking at what is, I think, Matt Berry, but with an 80s shadow over his face so that he looks a little bit
so you don't know anything about what this is, right?
Nothing.
Oh whatsoever. My God. Okay, well then this will even be even more ridiculous. This is my 30-second pitch, and unfortunately, there's no way to get to all the levels about why I think this is great. And unfortunately, again, super unfortunately, this is a primarily visual gag. But it's got Richard Ayoade, and Richard Ayoade is doing the thing that I think he is particularly great at. So please, would you watch this 31-second video with me, and I will drop in the audio.
All right. Is this... All right, I think I see a Pulp Fiction wig, or maybe I...
Okay, well, let's just take it for what it is rather than what we imagine it to be.
I know. It's just...
Okay, so if it helps... There's this guy named Garth Marenghi who is a prolific science fiction writer who is very proud of the fact that he's written more books than he's read. And then he's going to take his horror stories and turn it into this TV show about a haunted hospital. and the BBC wouldn't air it, and then eventually they did air it, and so the whole Garth Marenghi's Dark Place series is him. It's framed by his commentary about this. And his producer, who, believe it or not, had never acted before. Dean Lerner had never acted before. And the guy in this, Richard Ayoade, plays the administrator of the hospital. Tell me when you're ready. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I am ready. 3, 2, 1, play.
Cool it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper. Look, Daggett, you're an excellent doctor, but you're also a like maverick, who, when he's not bucking the system, is biting the hand that feeds, which in your case, it's this hand. Now, I'm not about to tell the immediate family of the deceased that we're going to have to burn what remains of his body in order to close the portals to another dimension. I just won't do it. This hospital's got a reputation, which I intend to keep. I've yet to see any demons on the ward, and I'm particularly observant. So go back to your lab and make me a pill that can cure madness, or I'll kick your ass so hard you'll be able to build a pole in the footprint. Understood?
Okay, there is an important visual gag, but
there's several important visual gags. And that's not even going to get you into like the terrible ADR of each actor. Anyways, Matt Berry. And then he's also got that one show. Oh shoot, what's it called? I've got it on my Plex, but I haven't. I just think Matt Berry is neat. I think he's neat and he's funny and he's interesting. And I guess somebody sent me a bit where he's a character in the Lego. He plays Bane in a Lego Batman movie.
Yeah, I have not seen it other than clips,
funny.
But it is.
Well, you know the Bane. We love our Bane bit.
I love a good Bane bit. I love a lot of Bane bits, and his is very good.
I can never quite get that like owl-like tone that Max used to get. Ooh.
That's why it's good. No one has the same Bane bit. Well, that's why it's perfect.
But like, if all you ever saw was the scene on the plane with Tommy Carcetti, aka Littlefinger, if all you ever saw was that one scene, like where he's still got the hood on his head, that's like, to me, that's the prime. Not Bane at the football thing is fine. You know, obviously Bane breaking his back, awesome. But Bane when he still has the hood on, will it hurt you if I think no, it'll hurt you? Ooh.
See, that's
a great scene. Isn't that a great opening scene for a movie?
I think though that's you have the canonical Bane, and just like the yeses, there should be a.
How many licks does it take to get to the middle of a Tootsie Pop?
Why? He just made an evil owl, not a...
Matt Berry. Matt Berry contains multitudes. He makes me very happy. And as Alex said, if y'all know him, if you don't know him, there's a lot of fun. He's probably best known now for playing Laszlo on What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
Where one of his best lines is, "Excuse me, Mr. Sinatra, but I don't seem to recall you being Chinese." And if you enjoy Matt Berry pronunciations, you're super going to love Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. I'll put it in notes. It's all online. You can watch it all on YouTube.
Excuse me, Mr. Sinatra.
Because they can't sleep. They can't sleep. The housekeeper threw out all their dirt, and now they can't sleep when they're in Las Vegas.
It's really good.
That is the war cry of Sheldon, their tall leader. Bazinga.
Want to start the show?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Do by Friday. Pew, pew. Whoa, what's going on in your neck of the woods? Oh, you're getting a knuckle supper. That's not what the phrase is.
I
Can you believe he never acted before? Can you believe Dean Lerner had never acted before that? Cool it, Sanchez. That's Matt Berry.
This is one of those times I immediately had the question, did he mean to say that, or was it just a funny Britishism? But I didn't. I can hold back the questions. I can.
Yeah.
A lot of questions.
I was thinking, I was urinating earlier and thinking about how you always ask so many questions. And I was thinking,
like asking questions.
Yeah, I think I might know why. Because
You've had a lot of theories as to why.
I'm compelled to be your friend, Alex. I need to figure it out. I can't just leave it an unsolved thing. The mind has to turn over in itself. What is you? Mm-hmm. Am I still allowed to use that pronoun? Is that okay? Was that hurtful? Who is they?
It would be funny if I knew the name of the actor. It would almost be funny if I knew the name of the actor.
Pretty soon we're just going to be doing grunts and saying skibbity, and we'll just be sitting in our own filth. But what were you saying? My
What are
theory
you
is,
talking about? What's your theory?
so that's good. I think that, I don't know, you claim to listen to podcasts, you listen to books. I think you listen to everything at triple speed. I'm very, I wouldn't say I'm information dense, but I do produce a lot of words. And I bet with me anyway, by virtue of the fact that you listen to some part of some podcasts, and when you do, you listen to part of them at triple speed, I bet that's what gets you so confused. If you listened at normal speed, you'd be able to process all the information in a way that makes sense. And maybe here, the fact that we're doing it, as far as I know, I don't know if you have a way to change this, but as far as I know, we're currently speaking at 100% speed. But like, maybe you've been habituated to having questions.
No.
Okay.
Good theory. But no. If a YouTube video is really boring, sometimes I hold down and then it goes at 2x, but...
Do you do that on Apple TV ever? Have you seen the new thing where it's like skips the parts most people skip?
No, because
I don't quite understand how it works. Well, I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying that I've very much gotten the habit of going dick, dick, dick to like know how far, I know when I hit dick, dick, dick. I know how far I'm going. But then sometimes I'll get a little pop-up that goes, okay, fine, I'm skipping the parts people skip, Laven. And it's like, no, now I got to go back. Because I'm skipping through. I've seen almost every episode of Big Fat Quiz of the Year, and I've seen almost every episode of When I Lie to You, at least in part. And I'm trying to see, is this one I've seen before? So I just want to see who the guests are. And I want to see if it's Richard Ayoade, for example, on Big Fat. I want to see if it's Richard Ayoade and Noel Fielding, as opposed to something that we got for a while, which is Richard Ayoade with a comedian I'm not particularly fond of. So I got to skip over those. Russell Brand.
I love your...
Russell Brand.
I love your...
I don't like Russell
You got mad at me for making fun of him one time, and I forget why. But I remember...
Good point.
I remember wanting to ask why you liked Russell Brand. I remember questions. I don't remember bits.
Well, again, as I increasingly say, that's part of the problem. What you remember is frequently not simply inaccurate, but non-existent. And then what you do remember is a version of it that somehow you've settled on. I guess in the 2 or 3 hours of sleep you get a month, things settle in as those images, and you have backup and archive, but then you've also got buckets. I was in your Fudge Bucket. Fudge Bucket.
You have made a great point as to why
Thank you.
that feature... No, it's not the one you think. As to why that YouTube feature is actually good.
No. That's you. You're a simian. I'm going to top off my coffee.
Probably. But that's a good reason to use the skip to most popular. That's what I see in my browser, because it's everyone has different YouTube now, not content, but like they change up the UI all the time, and it drives me bonkers.
Do your friends at work, your black friends, tell you that?
Oh God. But it makes sense that you would, you watch a lot of clips of things and you want to skip to the best part. But when I see that, sometimes I'm like, why would I watch this if I just am going to skip to a part?
Well, I like the little mountains. I like the little mountain waveform that tells me this is where the good part is. Because if I'm watching a beekeeping video, there's this one guy that does really, I like what his beekeeping thing is, but he nervous talks the whole time. And I don't want to sound like a, millennial, but there's times where I just...
at 3x speed.
No, not that. It's more that I'm really enjoying you cutting up the floor of this shed to remove the single largest beehive I've ever seen in my life. And you're carefully taking out each pod and trying to find the queen, and maybe there's multiple queens, and I love it. But then he's going yep, so oakley dokley, here we go, cutting this part, and then we're gonna that. The whole time it's like, well, first of all, get a fucking GoPro. Please don't beekeep with one hand.
Oh, interesting.
One-handed beekeeper, and that was not ableist, because I'm sure there's some very able. You know what? Do we still say invalid? I was thinking about that word the other day. Do we still say invalid? Is that considered ableist, honestly? You wouldn't call somebody an invalid anymore, right? Because that was a very common word for my entire childhood and adulthood. I just don't hear it much anymore. Because I was thinking I might want to become an invalid. I might want to become an invalid.
You should. And I do listen the books that I do.
I would get so
to,
many more breaks if everybody knew I was an invalid.
That's the thing. In Agatha Christie books,
Yeah.
like there's always at least 2 invalids and their lives are awesome. Like they're and the quote
Really? Are they rich?
Yeah.
Are they usually rich invalids?
They're usually
Because I think poor invalids probably don't do as well.
There's not many poor invalids.
That's when you become a sandwich commando. Yeah. I hope nobody understood that joke. I feel so guilty about that joke. Did you understand the reference to Sonderkommandos?
No.
Good. Okay,
didn't.
so that's why I didn't spell it with the K. I'll keep the trouble off me. You know, Germans listen to podcasts and they love chapters. Or as they call it, Das Chapters. It's pronounced the same. Boot and boat. A boot. A boat.
Yeah, unlike their fingering, which
German
I
fingering?
still don't understand.
You mean for flutes?
Like for when they say they want 1, 2, or 3, which we all found out.
No, theirs makes sense. It makes sense. No, Inglourious Bastards. It does actually make a lot of sense.
It does, and it's kind of
They start with the thumb, right?
Yeah, and it makes way more sense.
You're about to tell somebody 3 things. Mm-hmm. You're like, here's the 3 things I hate about you, which is not a movie. And so you hold up your hand, and in the United States, I would personally throw out. I would have the back of my hand facing towards you, probably not in a mean way, but I would flick up. My 1 index finger would be 1, my middle finger would be 2, right? Mm-hmm, my ring finger would be 3.
It makes way more sense. And for some reason,
wait, the American or the German?
No, the German way.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. And then what Fassbender messes up. God, I love that movie so much.
Fassbender.
How do you pronounce it? He's Irish. Did you know that? Okay.
Yeah, so isn't it Fassbender, not Fassbender?
He's
not a German.
What do you call the Doctor Who companion whose last name is Oswald?
I don't even know.
You call her Clara or Clara?
Is.
See, some people will call her Clara. I call her Clara because that's what they call her.
I don't remember. Wow, that's mean. I truly forgot she existed.
I've been British pilled because now I also say Lou Saunders because I've never heard anyone ever say Lou Sanders.
I think you've always been British pilled, but now it's like it's really taken.
I don't understand why you would say something like that.
Why?
What possible? No, this is another one of the things. I like it. I don't like it better when you ask questions, but sometimes you just make assertions with absolutely no basis. Tell me how I've always been British pilled.
I think that you have always been British pilled because you
Yes, and I'm asking you for proof of that, yes.
I think you have always been British pilled because from the time I remember listening to Merlin Mann, you have recommended various forms of British media with enthusiasm that most of...
No, I know. This is a really good point.
The biggest example, obviously, Doctor Who. And it's like you had the pills; they were there, but you weren't addicted. Like now, if all of the Brits were taken away from you, if Richard Ayoade was taken away from you, you'd be sad. And I don't know. You might.
And that's the pills that cause that.
That's the pills that cause that.
Well, I would just like to underscore in a way that doesn't really matter to our relationship or the show, but. You've done absolutely nothing to show how I've always been British pilled.
Always as a public
I watched
adult.
Doctor Who when I was in junior high and high school. And I watched, and then I didn't watch Doctor Who at all until Tennant after that. All I have for you is this gesture.
Monty Python. Yeah.
That's the big one. The big one's Monty Python. And then in my 20s and 30s, Fawlty Towers. I was obsessed with Fawlty Towers. And that's why I sometimes say things that only one of you would ever in a million years be able to recognize, and yet I keep saying it. Have you ever heard me say the following thing? I speak English very well. I learned it from a book.
Yeah,
I say that about twice a month.
Dracula. Yeah, I always thought it was
that's
a Dracula.
Manuel. He's from Barcelona.
Dracula, wow.
That's Manuel. He's from Barcelona. He's got a. Don't pay any attention to him. He's from Barcelona. That's the one where Sybil's in the hospital and Basil has to. See, I say Basil. I don't say Basil. Basil has to mount the moose head while his wife's getting her ingrown toe out, and then the Germans are there. You know, whatever you do, don't mention the war. He mentioned it once, but he thinks he got away with it.
You know,
You ever seen that? You ever seen Fawlty Towers?
No.
It's too late. You would enjoy it now.
I think in fact, like, you say these descriptions, and
That's true.
in my brain, you're describing these shows, and I'm trying to build.
I just don't understand what you've done for your entire
brain.
life. How have you not watched all this good stuff? You continue to not watch it. Where are you up to on Alien Earth?
What? Oh, no, I do know what that is. It's the Hulu show. I haven't watched any of it. Is it good? Like, I don't know what good means. Never mind.
I think you should try it.
I'm putting it.
Third episode came out last night. I'm saving it for tonight.
Oh, that
I had Squidward
you
last
saving
night.
something is a big deal.
No, I've got to like parcel it all out. I've got to figure it's August, or as we say in San Francisco, Faugust, and it's that time of year like when all the French people leave Europe and like there's no TV shows and all the cable news coverage makes no sense, and it's all like it's amateur hour for the whole like month of August. This is not a big new content season. Like I was listening to this morning I was listening to an episode of this TAL that I had forgotten about, where they talked to the author of the Book of Lists. And it was so thrilling to get to hear one of my childhood heroes on a podcast. You know, but there's never any new American lives, I don't think. There's no American lives. There's no third acts, let alone repeats. This act one. Act one.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Charlie Kahn.
Never mind.
Something we made in the mid-2000s. I'm not
really
even
good,
here anymore.
though.
It's a good show. It's very well done.
It is a good show.
One of the
where
they go to the diner.
Best podcasts.
You ever been to that diner they go to in Chicago? You ever been to that?
Yep, it is a diner that is. Yep, I go there often. I don't know why I'm afraid.
Tell me about it. Tell me about that. And they got the pie. They sell more pies because they got that the spinning pie thing. What's it called? Tell me about it.
The Golden Apple. It is a diner in Chicago, open 24 hours. It's not the Golden Nugget.
That is a casino on the
Strip
Strip in Las Vegas, and I've been there, and it's not that nice.
It's also a 24-hour diner in Chicago for some reason.
Also, could you please say the name of that 24-hour diner again? Say it again. No.
Golden Apple.
No. Say the one that it's not.
The Golden Nugget?
Say it again.
The Golden Nugget.
Say it properly. Nugget.
The Golden Nugget? Okay.
Nugget. Fudge Bucket Nugget. Nugget. And they did a thing there a million years ago where it was 24 hours at the Golden Apple, right? And different people would be there and reporting on what happens at that diner during the 24 hours.
Yeah,
it was a cool episode. It was such a cool show. Like, it's become like wallpaper, I guess. But like that show is really important to me. I think they did a great job, and I love that episode.
That episode is part of why I live where I
No
live.
kidding. Did you know I have a signed poster? I have a poster signed by a bunch of the people. I got it as a premium.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I might have a Starley Kine on it. I'll see if I can find it.
Ooh. That show is just like the early parts of it.
I think Flight versus Invisibility might be the first thing in retrospect, I didn't realize it at the time because it was probably the first, but I think that's the first John Hodgman thing I ever experienced was Flight versus Invisibility, which is still one of my favorite episodes.
I thought that was Jonathan Goldstein, but
it might
be. My first Jonathan Goldstein, which I think won't remember this or will be able to quote it perfectly, was the mermaid, the voicemail that Jonathan Goldstein's
it's all back in La Jolla.
Notes. It
is. No, it's his mom leaves a message. You and Little Mermaid can go fuck yourself. Goodbye.
See? Yes, you.
It's back in La Jolla. I just love saying La Jolla. You and Little Mermaid can go fuck yourself. That was also, I think, a really well told story because in order to understand what happened and why it's funny, there has to be, this is a little bit inside baseball, but I appreciate that in order to explain. So this is a story of Jonathan Goldstein got left a funny voicemail by his mother. And then in order to explain why this was funny and why it was an early example of non-computer virality is that wherever he was going to college, they had some kind of an internal system where every student had like a phone number, right? like a virtual system, but where you could like forward messages to people, and it became a way of like we would forward emails later. Right? Wasn't that how it worked? And it became this viral sensation on campus where people started saying goodbye.
Yep, and it jumped to
no, there's no "ga." It's just is it just bye? Is that what it was?
I think it was. It might have been bye bye. I'm
gonna see if I can find the whole thing. Keep going.
You and
Little Mermaid can go fuck yourself. But there's something about how the stuff that he wants is in La Jolla.
I would you. I'm gonna read it. You and the Little Mermaid can both go fuck yourselves. I can't find the books. They must be in La Jolla. I'm not going to wait up all night for you. Goodbye. I'm not going to wait up all night for you.
And that was because his, I guess, girlfriend at the time and him both liked The Little Mermaid. Was that it?
Spoilers, I suppose, because I don't remember. But it was something like that. They were trying to, they had to try to find the guy and figure out why.
Yeah, but the Little Mermaid angle was something about how Jonathan Goldstein's mother looked down on him despairingly because he had this girlfriend she didn't like, and they both liked The Little Mermaid too much, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was really.
What a great show!
A Jewish mom really hating The Little Mermaid is really fun to me. They never found out why, other than,
most people can't write that well, let alone speak extemporaneously that entertainingly. That's a very entertaining way to speak.
And that's why Jonathan Goldstein is Jonathan Goldstein.
Well, his mom is his mom. Fudge Bucket.
But
Nugget.
All right, fair.
You want to do the challenge?
I have nothing but simian noises to make. Yes, Merlin, what is this week's challenge? Because you and Roderick... wait, really?
Oh, it's the one. It's the one other things thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't. What? What's happening?
No,
are you on a different show right now? Or are you listening to another show on Triple Speed? Are you listening to that guy who interviews Trump voters? What are you doing?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna put a link in the show now because
good.
That's not who the guy is.
That's not really an answer. Once again, there's a question and there's an answer.
The question was: is that the guy who interviews Trump voters?
Do you want to talk about the challenge, Alex?
Yes. This week's challenge is want something. Want different things. Is it plural? Is it?
Want to take it to another take? What's the challenge this week, Alex?
No. This week's challenge: want other things. Want new.
You're so close. Let's do it once more, and this time let's do it correctly and without a question mark at the end. What's the challenge this week, Alex? The challenge this week is to want other things, and this comes up as a result of something we talked about on Roderick on the Line, and it's. The way I put it to John was, to me, it sounds like the kind of thing. God, who am I thinking of? Is it Anna Kendrick in Pitch Perfect? She has that one very funny line, but it's mainly her very funny reading of this line, and where she goes, "Make good decisions," or what is it? "Make good choices." Remember that?
Yes.
That's such a good movie.
I hear that line every day from my spouse.
Right. But the way she's doing it is like, it's funny in the context of the movie because it isn't like the girls are going out to do something a little bit rowdy and like something she doesn't want to do. And like, but anyway, she's like, yeah, make good choices.
No good choices will be made. It's
one other things and I would love to talk about this if you're interested. The idea was just to say that it's something we could all, I'll speak for myself. It's something I could find valuable is that I think the example I use specifically, and this is, I don't mean to drag anybody who's sensitive about their level of hirsuteness, but you could spend your whole life trying to figure out how to grow hair on parts of your body where you wish you could grow hair, or you could learn to want other things. And I know that sounds mean, and I'm not trying to be unkind to anybody, but however you feel about the weird sensitivity of guys about their hair, however you feel about that, I hope you can at least get with the idea that wanting other things is a two-pronged super option for almost any dilemma in life. So what did I just say? Two-pronged super something?
Two-pronged
two-pronged super solution?
Two-pronged.
Is that a titration?
Super solution.
I don't know. Something
what
like that.
Means.
You will.
Two-pronged super solution.
You, Herbie. You like that puppet? Now you know.
I'm gonna endorse this, and I'm not suck.
What is
not
this,
sucking up
Alex?
to you, I'll suck up to Roderick. I think this podcast episode is a 2020s Roderick on the Line starter episode, and one
awesome.
of the best
so nice of you to say.
Merlin on the Mans. You're not a Sherlock Holmes novel. What the fuck? It is a very good episode, and it has been passed around by a few trans men because you make a very important point that you again just made.
Holy shit!
Yes, that. There is.
Oh my gosh, my heart just grew by 3 sizes this day. That makes me so happy. I'm going to shut up now and please tell me about this. Pay me compliments. Compliment me.
No, this is just all Roderick, even though you're the one who said it. Men, usually all men, yes, very sensitive about their hair, especially trans guys, because if you are on testosterone, you are more likely to either lose your head hair.
I think that's something a lot of people don't know. I've heard this for a long time. I don't have a way to prove this. But what I've heard for a long time, and you'd hear it from guys back when it was, I'm so glad guys can shave their head. It changed everything. I mean, a lot of mooks decided they're strong because they're now allowed to shave their head. But like you go look at Mark Strong. Mark Strong with like weird hair versus no hair, completely different thing. Michael Chiklis, this is a long story, right? When I was a kid, there was exactly 2 men who weren't skinheads. There were exactly 2 men that were completely bald, and that was Telly Savalas and Yul Brynner. And that's it. People thought you had cancer if you didn't have hair. It was not an acceptable solution. But then the ability to do that, and now it must seem so tantalizingly close to a lot of people. There's all these like snake oils and patent medicine that can help you. All I wanted to say in saying one other things, and I want to come back to why I keep making a little joke about that phrasing, is I realize there are 2 important parts to that I probably didn't articulate very well. But, I've always heard those guys, those baldy guys with the earmuffs on the side, like Lobot. I've always heard those guys say, hey, you know why I'm bald? I'm like, well, I don't know, sin. And they're like, no, because I have so much testosterone. So that's something I've heard for a while. And that is true with people who are on the T.
For a lot of trans
Should I get my kid
men
to start working on a comb over? A preemptive comb over title?
A lot of at least millennial trans men start taking finasteride the same time they start, or at least if they are at least in their 20s, they'll start HRT and take finasteride at the same time. And my thing, and what is I think your point was, you're gonna be sensitive about it. Hopefully you aren't. And hopefully you can unpack that because it feels like really feels like a.
I mean, I would feel bad in my heart. I would feel bad in my heart if the thing that I was saying to Roderick that was kind of about getting him to want other things. Yes. I would be sad in my heart if it sounded like I was directly speaking to trans men about how they shouldn't want hair. I wouldn't want to portray it that way.
It was the opposite. If
I say this to my wife all the time, I've got a dense full head of hair, and so I don't have access to the self-consciousness personally. I think I can understand it. I've wanted things a lot in life that I couldn't have or didn't have or was losing or saw as part of an old me. We've all got those kinds of things. It's just that I can't get as emotionally worked up about hair loss as other people because I don't have the problem. If I'm being really honest, I'll bet you if I started losing my hair, like my friend Rich, he used to be able to buy beer for us when he was 16. He had a receding hairline when he was 16. And I bet if I'd had that experience, I would be much more oh, by all means, do anything you can to find a hat that covers up your head, with hair.
Well, I
don't care. I can lose all my hair right now, and I don't think I'd care one bit. But because I've never had to worry about it.
Yeah, and the other common thing is really wishing you had a beard and not being able to grow it, even though plenty of cis guys.
Oh, God, like Zach. Remember Zach on Survivor? That was a good looking
Oh, God. So brutal. So brutal.
Oh, but it was like if Haley Joel Osment, got a beard. But I like that guy a lot.
Haley Joel,
I like Haley Joel Osment too. He was in that movie Sixth Sense. I finally broke down and just told my kid what the secret is. I just couldn't stand him not watching it, and so I spoiled it for him. You like that? I said, you like that? It's like rubbing a dog's nose in its poop. It just gets confused, and now it has poop on its nose. Huh? I thought you liked me. Huh?
Oh God. Oh.
But I think I get where you're going with it, though, and I certainly don't mean it in any kind of an unkind way. I can put it. I'll put it in hopefully a more like anodyne.
You put it. I am going to say this again.
But they're not listening to that podcast right now. I think a lot of my co-hosts don't understand the podcast are in audio format. I'll put it in notes. Okay, well, that's great for people who look at their computer. What I was trying to say was...
You stated on this podcast that you didn't mean to be unkind to anyone. Are you saying...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Are you saying that...
No, if you've got a way to take this somewhere really good with a concept we haven't really explained yet, please, by all means, do. Or you could allow me to just hop in for a second and try to give some examples.
One other...
It's your show. You can talk all you want, theoretically.
There are things that I want as well, or things I want to happen, and it's like, okay, I can't have this now. Mm-hmm. Maybe I will at some point. But also, why do I want this?
Body
I want to get rid of my boobs, and it is not a
but I'm sorry.
I wasn't in the future.
Okay, all right.
Oh no!
I just meant as opposed to a Diet Coke.
No,
I'm not.
Well, but that's. Wait, what?
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be mean. It's just
you weren't.
Okay. Because like, it's, I don't know, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but you're in a world where part of the hustle is realizing who it is you actually are in life, or realizing who you'd like to be in life, like all of us, and then like pursuing it in ways where like sometimes some of those things that help you become who you are you have more access to than others.
Yes. And
you can buy pants. Pants are not the problem. Title. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's almost. I mean,
also, it's got one of my five favorite words in it. Pants. It's a very funny word.
Pants. Sock.
Sandwich. Robot. Sandwich. Tiny sock. I think about it all the time. I thought about it yesterday evening.
Almost every morning.
You can't make it any smaller, and because he wants it smaller so it fits him. Tiny sock. Tiny sock.
Can't make it any smaller. Did you know that this is an audio medium?
I imagine him going. The little guy. This is a pants comic. Little guy goes tiny sock, and I imagine him. I know it doesn't read on his face, but I imagine the guy going like a father almost, or a mother, like going like, I can't make it any smaller.
Yeah.
Like I'm a scientist. I've done everything I can to make a tiny sock.
I get like both the sympathy and the frustration.
Yeah, believe me. Yeah, they both come. They both flow freely.
Oh God. What? Oh, I'm done. Just that.
Okay.
Examining why you want the thing, and with me and a few of my friends, it's like, okay, sometimes the things we want as queer people are going to make us more of who we are, make us more comfortable, and we also need to recognize
like a name change. Would a name change count for that? Like a proper name change, because it's a way of saying like it means a lot to me that this is who I am, and I want the world to. I mean, on a gentle level, I want the world to know this is who I am, but I also want the world to have to accept who I am. It's like James Baldwin says: you got to sell people on who you are, not just the idea of who you are.
Yes, but that's an easier, more obtainable thing that isn't necessarily like. Again, I am casting a very wide net.
And also, I will save you just by saying this is if you start poking around in this topic, it is at least an improbably deep topic. So yes. I don't feel bad at all, because like I feel the same way, that like it sounds so simple. It sounds like somebody like a mean parent or principal saying like, well, you're good at science, go do science or whatever. Mm. And that's absolutely not what this is about. It's about, well, I think something much deeper. My only thing then Merlin needs to say the more important, not you guys know, but like cis men also
want hair in certain places. Cis men, all like some guys who want trans guys who want bottom surgery want a really specific kind of dick, and cis guys often want a certain kind of dick. And it's like,
of course you would. That makes total sense. Yeah, it makes total sense.
And it's like
you don't just want a dick; you want your dick.
Right. But
same
it's
with
also
your little hair hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And
that's why Sinatra and Tony Bennett had such good. They had each of those rugs cost $75,000, and you have to have. This is so brilliant to me. As much as you might look at Frank Sinatra and go, God, you're so needy to be like the most successful singer in the world and still be weird about your hair, but like he also had the presence of mind to get a plausible wig. Because if he got a wig like a Beatles wig, he would look absurd. If it was way too long and way too dark, you have to have the hairline of a man your age. You have to accept, in order for your wig to be plausible, you have to accept the grayness and paucity that comes with the hair of a man your age. Otherwise, you look completely ridiculous. If you didn't get, and do you follow what I'm saying? The presence of mind it takes to say, give me a wig with a receding hairline takes a lot of self-knowledge and the same way as like, I always think about my friends with, comb over is a very general word. Another thing in the 90s was the George Clooney inspired Caesar cut that a lot of guys with receding hairlines would get. And like,
oh, okay, yes.
But like, there's certain kinds of things where, like, I always wonder: do you have to? How comfortable are you talking to your operator about what it is that you want? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think I've ever. I mean, I've had a 3 conversations ever with Judy where she's like, "You have a lot of hair," or like, "Blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, it's going up a little bit here on the sides." Like, I just did a pretty radical shave all over, and I notice a receding hairline more. But like, if I wanted to get a wig right now, I would not get a wig that gave me like bowl cut style, like Mo from the Three Stooges, or Claudia Winkleman style fringe.
I wish you would, but
why I oughta.
Oh God. Anyway, that helped. It reminded me and a number of my friends that sometimes the things that we want aren't actually to make us more of ourselves, but because we want to be a part of the binary that we say we don't believe in, and we say that shouldn't matter. And that is at
once complicated and not complicated. It's complicated because of what's involved in trying to pursue it, but it's not complicated at all. Instead, I'm not saying this is what people are saying. This is very much something I've said for like, kind of like, I don't want to be weird. Like, I don't want to be the one in the room who sticks out as a weirdo. And like, I don't think anybody generally, I think if you want to be a weirdo and you have control over it and the context, that's one thing. But like, it sucks to be the one person in the room who's not like all the others in whatever way that is. It's no fun when you can't play basketball very well. God, Syracuse and I were talking about the phenomenon of shirts and skins last night. How just as a part of every PE class, there would be a point where you just said, okay, half of the boys take your shirt off. And that was just something we did all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of shocking when you think about it now. And it's not at all shocking how much I hated it. Because, like candy, I've come to hate my body. and all that it requires in this world. I'd like to know completely what others so discreetly talk about. What a beautiful song. Can I make my pitch now?
Please, thank you.
They came up in that context, and I think we've talked way too much about hair for my comfort at this point. But it's the thing I sometimes, in my better moments, try to say with myself. And because this, oh God, all right, I'm just going to talk and we'll see how it goes. Okay. One problem is, like, you think about those things that people say, like, like about what I've always wanted to be. Like, I guess that could be something like, oh, I've always wanted to be a doctor. Or it could be something like, I've always wanted to be good at golf. Or there's these things that you think you've always wanted. Or I've always wanted to be a rock star or whatever. And, like, it's just that I like to remind myself that, well, let's do the whole thing. First, you got to realize, right? We're back to that Merlin's big stack in the sky, right? Like cognition, like perception, cognition, processing, decision making. There's this stack, at least in my mind, about how all that stuff works. And with the implication, I won't go into it now, but the implication, I should write this up. The implication of that being that it's difficult to execute a plan until you notice there's a problem that requires a plan. Like, why would I call to get my refrigerator fixed unless there's something wrong with my refrigerator? Well, obvious, Merlin, don't be simple. Okay, but how did I notice there was something wrong with my refrigerator? Like, okay, I notice I'm a little uncomfortable about my hairline. And like, I've always seen myself as somebody who has lots of hair. Or like, I've always wanted a nice car. All I'm trying to say is the simplest version I can come up with, I think, is whenever you find yourself, you notice, and God bless you if you've gotten far enough to notice what it is you want in life, because a lot of people don't. You started to notice something about yourself and your life, and then you keep kind of rehearsing that that's the thing that you want. And my pitch is that it's always an option to want other things. And then the part that we probably don't have time for, but I'd love to get into at some point, is the really big second part. If it's important to want other things, you can always choose to want other things, but it's vital for everybody to be in order to become a well-rounded person, you have to also want other things, not different things. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because it sounds like just dumb wordplay. On the one hand, I could say, look, I thought by this point, I mentioned this in the talk where I cried, talked about when I had this fantasy that when I moved to San Francisco, I was going to meet a super cute, South Korean girl who went to Art Academy, and we'd have funky sex and listen to techno together. And instead, I met the woman I'm married to and I'm in love with, and so I could carry around for the rest of my life this idea of hey, my whole fantasy trip to San Francisco got ruined because I didn't bone down with enough 22-year-old Asian girls, which is not even my thing, oddly enough. But do you follow?
Yes, unfortunately. No,
Well, okay, but then...
Part of what stuck also is what you are... Specifically, this San Francisco thing, when you have a decision, this is the thing I'm going to do, then it means you need to mourn the thing, and it, for me, can get really unhealthy. I mean, for me, thinking, okay, I am going to have a life like my parents, where I get married and have kids, and I am in the suburbs. That didn't
and I'm not a weirdo.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's always important, right? Well, if I do that, there's less of a chance I'll be a weirdo.
Yes. And because I was lucky enough to be all right, I want other things, it was not something that I got hung up on. All right, I see the flow. Is that how you say it? Yes. So, on the one hand, the option that always hangs before us, and this is so fucking complicated. It sounds as simple as saying this is the way that Anna, Kendrick, type in Pitch Perfect might say, make good choices. You could say to somebody, one other things, snap, snap, snap in a triangle. So I could. Another example I used to use in when I was a Merlin Man, I used to talk about, actually, you know what, this is a pretty good example. It's a dumb example, but it's a familiar example. I used to say all the time, it's one thing to be obsessed with wanting a race car bed when you're 9, but then if you get to 30, 40, 50, you can still remember the feeling of having wanted a race car bed, but you could go out and buy a race car bed today. But would that make you a happy person? Probably not. Oh gosh, no, what is the line? Oh my God, there's a line from a show I'm about to totally botch. I sleep in a bed with my wife like a big boy. Oh, I sleep in a big bed with my wife. The Simpsons.
What?
Fuck.
No, it's
Rick
something.
Grimes,
it'll come to us. No, but it'll come to us. No, is it? No.
Milhouse's dad. Fuck. He's I sleep.
No, it's not The Simpsons. It's more like something from HBO. I sleep in a bed with my wife you could go out and buy that race car bed today. That's not the question. Or is it? Because in your head, you've just been saying race car bed over and over for 40 years. Maybe. I know this is a silly example, but hear me out. Well, why don't you want a race car bed anymore? Well, you're a different person and you've learned to want other things. But vitally, because we need to wrap this up, you also need to want other things. And this is where I run into trouble with my friends who use the word priority differently than I do, where my definition of priority has gotten actually sharper over the years, not more yielding. I used to say, what did I say? Priorities are like wings. If you think you have more than a couple, you're either lying or crazy. And then eventually that became a priority is the thing that you give the most attention to, and then the other things are allowed to die. I've more recently started to wonder if the true definition of a priority, it's the one thing that has to live even though everything else must die. You need to plan ahead, almost in the way a tactician in the military would say, well, Stalin gives this order that would not one step back. Well, that's going to have really big consequences if you make that your law. I'm really drifting here. I think that if I spent my whole life wanting a race car bed, or I spent my whole life wanting to be, if I had stuck with those ideas, I would be avoiding the fact that I could choose to want other things. Like I could choose to want, maybe I want a different thing to change about my appearance, but just as you get older, those kinds of things happen. But here's the critical twist is the want other things. Because as with a priority, if the only thing you super want above all others, let's come up with something silly so we don't hurt someone's feelings. Okay, I've got it. The one thing that you've wanted your entire life and you still want more than it's to still hurt somebody's feelings, because that's what feelings do. All you've ever really wanted was a Viking range, like one of those nice, fancy cooking stoves that like fancy people have. And you've been envious of them your whole life. And maybe on some level you've thought, like, I won't really feel like a good home cook, like a fully like prosumer, cook until I have a Viking. And like, if that's all you want and it's still out of reach, have you remetered? Like, well, what is it about the Viking in particular that you've got to have? Are you really saying, I want anything that has the word Viking on it? Well, no, what you really want is the status symbol of this 5-figure oven or however much it costs. But, put in your example here. But if you never amend that or update that, you start losing track of why you ever wanted a Viking range in the first place, or why you ever wanted hair in the first place, or why you ever wanted an Asian girlfriend in the first place. If we become too fixated on the thing that we want, what naturally happens? What naturally must happen? We're constantly pushing aside all of these other things that aren't a Viking range or an Asian girl. All these lost opportunities, tears and rain, all these things are going to be not doable. So think about it in your terms. If you had decided arbitrarily at some point in college, this is my second college, I'm working on this degree, I've got to do something with this, I've got to become a preeminent documentary filmmaker who's interviewed on TV. That's a totally laudable goal, but see where I'm going with this. Like, if you continue to stick with that to where you are right this second, you would probably not be a very happy person. And I can tell you at least one of those reasons has nothing to do with you, which is that was never an easy gig, and it's a less easy gig now. Would I want to write like a spec script for a comedy show, a pilot, and try to pitch it right now? Hard pass. You got to want other things, because if you haven't updated that idea about the race car bed or the Asian girl, like, are you still chasing something that you first never actually wanted all that much? Well, probably you did. All right, whatever. But like, if you keep chasing that, think of all the things that you've set aside because you wanted that thing. And like in your case, think about the myriad of personal opportunities, social opportunities, job offers, whatever comes along, where you would just go the same way that some chode would go, like, oh, no, I'm going to be a doctor. I would never want to do lawn work. I got to protect my hands. Or for that matter, like, I can't go to this event because I've got, the LSAT in the morning. I don't know, whatever your example would be. But in your case, think of the times that you would, if you had stuck with that idea that I just made up, you would be overlooking a lot of potentially wonderful things. So the one other things is like, consider if you have an updated idea of the things that you think you want in life, and are you pursuing it in a wholesome way? But then the other one that's the secret, like really powerful punch, is the want other things. Like, consider deprioritizing. In the same way that I don't think you need to have as many strong opinions as you have. People, me, us, all. But like, you also, like, have you looked into other options? Have you looked into other things? One of the things that frustrates me when I talk to people about the dingus is, I think there's a big difference between what should I do, or tell me what to do and tell me what my options are. I think are very different questions. And I'm not sure every user of the dingus gets that. I'm not asking you to cut my steak for me. I'm saying, like, what are my options? What are the things I could do about this? And then I'll explore those options like, say, an adult. But like, if all I want, what I want is a guarantee, no more attempts on my father's life. So close. So anyway, I think I'm done ranting, but it's something that is it's something that's been on my mind for a long time, but a pretty fresh thought technology, So it's still kind of a new idea for me, but I think both parts are important, but as ever, the real life hack is love. It was with us all the time. The real trick is like, hey, you fucking supposedly smart person, what parts of all that entire stack from perception all the way through follow through and, operationalizing things in your life, how many have you updated your idea of a lot of those things? Because maybe one reason you're happy is that you theoretically, more than anything else in the world, want something that you don't have. Potentially, if we're being honest, it's something you can't have, at least in the version you think you can have it. And what if your saving grace was maybe you don't actually want what you think you want, and maybe it's time to open up, look across the horizon, don't feel ashamed to scan the horizons and the skies for what the thing is that you might actually want, and maybe stop thinking solely about what it is that you want and think more about what you've got and what's out there and how you can contribute.
Yes! Yes!